Welcome to the assembly guide for our tiny outhouse model kit, available in our Etsy shop. In this video, I'll guide you through each step of the process with clear, easy-to-follow instructions so you can enjoy a smooth and precise build. Let's get started. For this assembly, I recommend using tacky glue. It dries quickly, holds the parts firmly, and makes the process easier. While other types of glue can work, they might create a few extra challenges. I like to apply the glue with a small wooden stick or brush. It gives you more control and keeps things neat. It's also a good idea to have a mat or a piece of cardboard under your project to protect your work surface. Before we begin, I recommend laying out all the pieces in front of you. This makes it easier to see what you have and decide what to work on first. It's also helpful to watch the entire video once before starting. This way, you'll understand the overall process and the logic behind each step. The order of assembly is designed to keep the build moving smoothly, with minimal waiting time for glue to dry. Let's take a quick look at the kit. It includes all the laser-cut plywood parts needed to build the outhouse, a string of fairy lights with batteries to light it up, a sheet of printed paper for the toilet paper pattern, and a couple of tiny newspapers for extra detail. We'll start with the smaller details inside the build. These won't be visible when it's finished, but they're important. This piece will hold the battery pack for the fairy lights. It's the engineering part of the project. Once you stack the pieces together, try to align them carefully. You'll notice a line marking where each piece should go. While it's not required to do this right away, it makes sense to glue the front part of the roof support along with the light holder. These pieces will support each other and create a stable base once dry. Please pay attention to how I orient the pieces in the video. Since they'll interlock, it's important to place each one in the correct direction. Our next step is to attach the round pieces to the door. These will form the hinges, and their shape allows the door to move freely. Apply glue to the square part and attach one to each end of the door. It may feel tight. That's exactly what we want. Once they're in place, set the door aside to dry. Next, we'll assemble the decorative toilet paper rolls. This part is simple. Just remove the circles and glue them into 2 stacks of 3. This will give us 2 tiny toilet paper rolls. One of them will have a holder to attach it to the wall, but we'll add that later once the glue is dry. Now we can move on to building the main structure. All the pieces you'll need are shown on the screen. Before gluing, I recommend dry fitting everything to see where each piece goes. The tabs at the bottom fit into the slots on the base. And at the same time as the walls go in, you'll also be adding the toilet seat. Make sure all decorated surfaces, with lines or other markings, face outward. Once you're confident everything fits, start gluing. Install the back wall first, then one side wall. Next, add the toilet seat pieces, and finally, attach the last wall. Don't apply glue directly to the seat piece. It will be held securely in place by the parts that fit into the wall notches. The toilet seat is designed so it can still be lifted even after the glue has fully dried. While the outhouse is still open, it's a great time to add some decorative details, like the toilet seat ring and this little picture. On the sheet of paper that came with your kit, the one with the QR code linking to this video, you'll also find decorative prints of toilet paper patterns and tiny newspapers. Since our wooden toilet paper rolls should be dry by now, this is a perfect time to make them look more realistic. Simply cut out the toilet paper strips, apply glue to the back, and roll them around the wooden cylinders you assembled earlier. For a more natural look, leave one end hanging slightly. Now you can attach the holder pieces to one of the rolls, the one that will hang on the wall. Working with such small pieces can be tricky, so I recommend gluing one side of the holder first, letting it dry, and then attaching the other side. This makes it much easier to handle. Next, we'll return to the main structure to install the door and ceiling. Start by pushing the round hinge piece of the door into the hole in the base. It should slide in smoothly. You may need to wiggle it a bit, but it will click into place. Then, we'll add the top piece, which ties the whole structure together. It holds the walls in place and has a round slot for the top hinge of the door. Apply glue to all the areas shown in the on-screen images. Then slide the top piece down over the structure. Once it's in place, make sure the door is positioned correctly and moves freely. Next, we'll build the roof support structure, which will also form the light box for our fairy lights. As always, I recommend dry fitting the pieces first to see exactly where each one goes. Once you're sure of the placement, apply glue and assemble them. This is also a good moment to install the small decorative horseshoe on top. While the main structure is drying, check if the first part of the toilet paper holder has dried. If it has, glue on the second part and set it aside again to dry completely. While the main structure is still drying, it's a great time to add the trim pieces, which give the outhouse a more finished look. You'll notice 2 thinner pieces and 4 wider ones. The thin pieces go on the back of the structure, while the wider pieces go on the sides, overlapping the thinner ones. If you have clamps or another way to apply pressure, they can help, but they're not essential. It's possible to assemble without them. Once the back trim is in place, attach the shorter side pieces to cover the wall slots. Then add the front side wall trim. As you install each piece, make sure nothing sticks out or interferes with moving parts, especially the door. The trim should never block the door from opening or closing smoothly. Now is a great time to set the piece aside and let it dry. But if you'd rather keep working, just be careful not to shift the trim pieces, and you can begin installing the fairy lights in the top section. You may have noticed the holes in the outhouse ceiling. These will act as light shafts. Untangle the fairy lights and separate them into 2 even bundles. Keep each bundle neat, securing them with their own cord. Place 1 bundle on each side of the top compartments and fit the battery pack inside as well. It will stick out from the back, which is intentional for easy access. Make sure there's enough slack in the cord so the battery pack can be removed later to replace batteries. Once the lights are in place, test fit the roof. If it sits flat without popping up, apply glue to the top surfaces of the roof supports and attach the roof. If the light cord pushes it up slightly, apply gentle pressure while the glue dries. Once dry, the roof will be secure and the structure will feel solid. While the top part is drying, the next step is to decorate the build. Start by preparing the tiny newspapers, which you can cut from the same sheet of paper with the QR code included in the kit. To avoid blank spaces inside, I recommend folding the papers in half and gluing them together. While the paper's dry, it's a good time to install the door supports on the inside. These pieces are purely decorative and don't add any structural support. Glue them evenly in the middle of the door, leaving equal space on both sides. After gluing, always check that they don't block the door. Open and close it to make sure it moves freely. Now that the main structure is complete, you can start adding the decorative pieces. How you arrange these inside is completely up to you. I've tried a few options, and the way I show in this video is what I found most pleasing. But it's your creation, so feel free to place them however you like. Attaching the toilet paper roll to its hanger can be a bit tricky since the glue surface is small. To make it easier, flip your build on its side, apply glue, press the roll onto the wall, and hold it in place until it dries. Super glue works well here for faster drying. Once that's done, close the door and install the door handle. With these final details, our build is officially complete. I recommend letting it dry for at least an hour if you're using tacky glue. If you're using school or PVA glue, drying times will be longer. You can always give it a gentle touch to check that all the pieces are secure. Congratulations on finishing your miniature outhouse. You should be proud of this detailed and charming build. It's a wonderful achievement, and I hope you enjoyed the process as much as the result. Don't forget to check the link to our Etsy shop in the description to explore more unique and magical products. Thank you so much for ordering from Nightingale Works Art. We truly appreciate your support.